Thank you. Right. So we have next, Sam?
We've got Fiona Hunt now.
Fiona, welcome to the committee. Thank you very much for joining us today. You probably would have seen the other submitters and know what the situation is. We are running a bit early, but we will keep to 5 minutes for your submission to make that fair for everyone. If you want to leave some time for questions at the end, you're more than welcome to do that. So I'll leave the time to you now. Thank you.
Kia ora. Thank you very much for providing the opportunity to provide an oral submission. I do not support the conversion therapy bill. As a background, I have worked for an anti-trafficking coalition where we facilitated a community-wide response to the resourcing, response and rehabilitation of people affected by sex trafficking. And I wish to make 3 main points. Firstly, in my experience, sexual wholeness does not equate to sexual identity. My definition of sexual wholeness is that a decision made by a person will not be a reaction to adverse experience of the past. For one person that I provided advocacy services for, who was sexually exploited, she detested wearing skirts as she was required to wear them while she was forced to sell her body to men so that they had ease of access to her. So exploring gender identity is important, but this also may include embracing biological identity. Now, in my experience working in the anti-trafficking field, what I found is that victims of trafficking, it was quite common to have trauma bonding, continuation of sexual violence, whether it be within the realms of sex trafficking or domestic violence, increased promiscuity, mental health issues. Many of the people that I met had dissociative personality disorders, depressed, and they were had anxiety issues. So to decriminalise what may be discussed in the therapy setting actually limits the opportunity for these specific clients to be free from their past. The second point that I'd like to raise is that sex trafficking at its core is defined by force, fraud or coercion, and the current bill undermines trauma-informed response in therapy. So what I have found is that, and what has been experienced by many victims, is that control is a key tool in the victimisation process. And within a trauma-informed response, it's important that victims are empowered to make their own choice with regards to how they engage with their own therapeutic journey. What this bill limits is the type of therapeutic services a person may engage, and they have limited control over what may be discussed in therapy and what support they may receive regarding their sexual identity and practice. And I have also supported a number of victims who were both engaged in homosexual and heterosexual relationships and everything in between. The third point that I'd like to make is that the current bill contravenes the government's strategy of providing wraparound services, promoting collaboration and addressing societal issues. I'm aware that if there's an incident in the home environment, the police, ACC, the Justice Department, Education and Probation gather at one point in order to understand what action points need to happen in order to address the incident that's happened. Now, I'd like to
interrupt you, Fiona. We're just almost out of time, so I just wondered if you just wanted to make a final point.
I'm just wrapping up now. Yep.
Thank you.
I'd like to propose that one incident did not suddenly occur, that it's likely to be a culmination of lifetime decisions and social structure, infrastructure. And I believe that parents are the most invested stakeholder in addressing adverse childhood experiences. Within this current bill, the parent is excluded in participating in discussions or being notified of any decisions that a child may make with regards to their sexual or biological identity. Breaking generational cycles is a long-term endeavour, and it's important to honour the relationship between the parent and child, and excluding the parent of being notified of interventions with long-term ramifications, I believe, is detrimental to the child and the family.
Thank you very much, Fiona.
That concludes my oral submission.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we won't have time for questions, but thank you very much for coming to the committee and for making your written submission as well. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.